Welcome. There's this magnetic pull that cities have on us, right? Is it the promise of a great job, that incredible cultural scene, or maybe it's just that feeling of being right in the middle of everything? Cities have always been these great magnets for humanity, but they also come with a pretty steep, sometimes hidden price. So today, we're going to dig into what we're calling the urban equation to really try and understand the true cost and the real benefit of city life. And to help us sort all this out, we have two incredible experts with us. First up, Dr. Marcus Thorne. He's an urban sociologist who has dedicated his career to studying the human side of our cities. Dr. Thorne, thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure. Glad to join the conversation.
And we also have Dr. Lena Petrova, an environmental urban planner who's really on the cutting edge of designing the sustainable cities of tomorrow. Welcome, Dr. Petrova.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Okay, let's just jump right in. Dr. Thorne, people have been moving to cities for centuries. What is the big draw? What is this promise that just keeps pulling us in?
Well, if you had to boil it all down to one word, it's opportunity. Cities are like superchargers for human potential. They pull together the best, the brightest, the most ambitious people, and they create this incredible melting pot of ideas that you just don't find anywhere else.
I mean, just think about it. On the economic side, you have this huge concentration of jobs, usually with higher salaries. And socially, you're surrounded by this amazing diversity of people, which means, you're much more likely to find your people, your tribe. And we can't forget the convenience of it all. Everything you could possibly need or want is basically at your fingertips. And from a planner's viewpoint, the infrastructure itself is a massive draw. We're talking about top-tier hospitals and healthcare, world-class universities, and public transportation that, when it's done right, can make life incredibly efficient. So it really does sound like cities are this ultimate land of opportunity. But there's got to be a flip side of this coin, right, Dr. Thorne? All of that energy, all that density, it has to come at a cost.
It absolutely does. And, that's really the great paradox of city living. The very things that make cities so appealing are also the things that make them so incredibly challenging. It's a classic double-edged sword.
So on the one hand, you have this amazing social vibrancy. But on the other hand, you've got the constant pressure of living right on top of one another. The noise, the crowds, that frantic pace of life, it all starts to add up, and it creates a pretty significant amount of stress.
And we should definitely not forget the financial pressure. I mean, the cost of living in a major city can be absolutely astronomical. So you might be earning more, sure, but a huge piece of that paycheck is going right back out the door just to cover your basic needs.
There's a quote here that I think really gets to the heart of it. The very things people move to the city to escape, difficulty and struggle, can reappear in a new urban form. Dr. Thorne, what does that really mean to you?
To me, it's about the illusion of escape. You might think you're leaving the struggles of a small town behind, but what you're really doing is just trading them for a whole new set of challenges in the city. A great example is the struggle for physical space. You're not fighting boredom anymore. Now you're fighting just for a little piece of the city to call your own.
And this human pressure, it doesn't just affect our own mental health, does it, Dr. Petrova? It's also taking a massive toll on the environment. That's exactly right. We tend to forget that cities are part of a much larger ecosystem. And when you concentrate millions of people and all their consumption into one small area, the environmental impact is just immense. We're talking about a carbon footprint that is, frankly, completely unsustainable.
Let's just break that down a little. First off, you've got air pollution from all the traffic and industry, which is literally making people sick. Then you have endless traffic jams that aren't just stressful, they're also pumping more and more emissions into the air. We're paving over our green spaces for new developments, which is terrible for wildlife and for our own well-being. And, just as Dr. Thorne mentioned, the constant noise is a serious, serious threat to our mental health. Wow, that's a pretty grim picture you're painting. But you're a planner, Dr. Petrova, so you must have some solutions here. How do we even begin to build better cities?
I'm actually incredibly optimistic about this. We have the knowledge, we have the technology to create truly amazing cities. The key, though, is a radical shift in how we think. For far too long, we've designed our cities around cars. It is time to start designing them around people.
There are really three key areas we have to focus on. First, we have to break our addiction to cars. That means more investment in good public transit and making our cities much friendlier for people who walk or bike.
Second, we have to bring nature back into the city. I'm talking about more parks, community gardens, even things like green roofs on buildings.
And that's not just about having pretty flowers, right? There is a huge psychological benefit to being around nature. It reduces our stress, it improves our mood, and it gives us a place to connect with our community. It's really a win-win for both people and for the planet.
That is such a fantastic point. Dr. Petrova, what is the one thing you really want our audience to take away from this whole discussion? That we have the power to create the cities we actually want to live in. We don't have to just accept the way things are. We can build cities that are not just economically successful, but that also nourish our souls and protect our planet. That's the future I'm working toward.
So, when you get right down to it, it all comes back to the urban equation. It's not about choosing between a booming economy and a healthy society. It's about figuring out how to have both. It's about designing cities that truly work for everyone, not just for the bottom line.
And that leaves us all with one final and I think crucial question. As we build the cities of the future, how do we make sure that they're not just smart, but that they're also wise? I want to give a huge thank you to our guests, Dr. Marcus Thorne and Dr. Alina Petrova, for sharing their incredible insights with us today.
Thank you for having me.
It was my pleasure.
And thank you all for joining us for this explainer. We'll see you next time.